Hey tea heads, this is Don from Mayleaf. In this video, 3 teas for sweet tooths. Maybe you're trying to cut down on your sugar, maybe you're trying to give up sugar altogether and you're looking for some natural drinks to satisfy that sweet craving. Or maybe you are a sweet tooth or you have friends who love sweet things and you want to find the right tea for them. Well, in this video, I'm going to be explaining a little bit about sweetness in tea, and then I'm going to be showing you 3 teas that I love to go to when I have a hankering for something sweet. First of all, let's talk about what sweetness is in tea. Tea contains an arsenal of flavor compounds and aroma compounds which can contribute to sweetness, both in aroma and taste. So there are compounds in the tea leaf that during the processing of the tea, and this is why the tea type and the processing style is so important, but they break down and they start to release volatile aromatic compounds. These volatile aromatic compounds can have very flowery aromas, can have very fruity aromas, can have very caramel or honey aromas, and they contribute to this sense of sweetness, this perception of sweetness. Now, some people say that you can't smell sweetness. Well, I defy that. If you go and you sniff a beautiful sweet jasmine flower, you get a sense of sweetness in your nose. So I believe that you can have a perception of sweetness just through aroma. But also in teas, there are things called glycosides, and glycosides, when they break down, they actually leave sugar residue. So you do get some sugar residue in tea. Now, if you look at any nutritional advice, they will tell you that tea has 0 calories and no sugar, but there are tiny, tiny trace amounts of sugar residues which will contribute to sweetness in the mouth, especially after you drink over time. So what I want to do today is I want to go through 3 teas that I love to go to whenever I feel like something sweet. Stick your own ones in the comments section below. Share your opinion about which teas are the best for sweet tooths. I know a lot of you out there will be thinking raw pu'er, raw pu'er, raw pu'er. I agree, but this video is more about trying to find some teas that are good entry points for people who are discovering tea and want something a little bit sweeter. And we start, of course, with the mighty Eastern Beauty, also known as Oriental Beauty, also known as Baihao Oolong, also known as Dongfang Meiren. You can check a whole video just about this tea. I'll put a link in the description below. So this is an oolong tea from Taiwan, picked in the summer. And the main flavor aromatics which contribute to the sweetness of Eastern Beauty are due to glycoside and carotenoid breakdowns. So when the tea is being withered, when the tea is being processed, enzymes in the leaf start to break down carotenoids and glycosides, and that releases aromatics. The aromatics that are most in play here are linalool, geraniol. Those are aromatics which are very rich in citrus fruits, in geraniums. They're very flowery, they're very fruity. So if your hankering is for something that's fruity and flowery, then this is definitely the one for you. And if this tea is bug bitten, so it's bitten by little jacids in the summertime, if it's bitten, then the plant produces another precursor. So it produces another aromatic volatile, which will become hotrienol, and hotrienol has a more honeyed, fermented taste, similar to dessert wines like Gewürztraminer and Riesling, so those sweet, honeyed, fermented dessert wines. So you're getting this combination in a good Dongfang Meiren, and there are plenty of bad Dongfang Meirens out there, but you're getting a combination of linalool and geraniol, which will give you aromas similar to those zesty roses, geraniums, a little bit of lychee, a bit of citrus fruit. So all of those bright but sweet aromatics, and then underpinning it all is this fermented, honeyed note from hotrienol. Let's brew this and let's see what it tastes like. I've already rinsed the leaves here. The smell coming off this is one of the most incredible tea smells out there. Amazing aromatics. I'm getting lychees, I'm getting some mango, but very, very ripe. I'm getting lots and lots of dessert wine, Rieslings, or think of those Tokai Hungarian botrytized grapes when they're really, really sugared. It's so sweet and honeyed. It's unbelievable. If you've never smelt a high quality Dongfang Meiren or Oriental Beauty, Eastern Beauty, you need this in your life, I promise you. It is the most amazing smell. We're brewing Guangfu style, which means I put about 4.5 grams of leaf per 100 ml. This is a 180 ml pot, so I put 8 grams of leaf. Please brew Guangfu style, so much better. You're gonna get such a more enhanced experience. So 90-degree water, that's 195 Fahrenheit. We're gonna brew for about 30 seconds here, and then it goes straight into the Guangdao Bay. The aromas coming off this, honeyed fruits. Imagine taking apricots and lychees and raisins, very sweet raisins. It's still got some floral note as well. Geraniums, roses, zesty roses, but also a woodiness as well, which is very nice, underpins it, gives it some structure. So as I said before, this sweetness mostly comes from glycoside hydrolysis, which means the glycosides have been broken down by enzymes in the leaf. When the leaf recognizes that it's becoming damaged because it's been picked and it's being withered under the sun, the enzymes are released and they break down all of the lipids and all of the carotenoids and all of the glycosides in the leaf, and those release those aromatic profiles, which is why processing of tea leaf is so fundamental. You can have the most amazing leaves growing, but if the person making the leaf doesn't know how to process it correctly, get the timing right, they will not capture this aroma. Let's give it a taste. Beautiful amber liquor, golden amber liquor. Now, when you're trying to get the flavor of tea, the sweetness of tea, give yourself a couple of sips, because what you want to happen is the compounds to start to create a film, a layer on your mouth. And also making sure that you're breathing out through your nose while the tea liquor is in your mouth and afterwards and in. So again, you're taking those sweet volatile aromatics, and you're making them a part of the tasting experience by making sure that there's movement through your nose. And I am getting all of the fragrance that I had in the wet leaf in my mouth and in my nose. I'm getting dessert wines. I'm getting those tokais, Hungarian dessert wines, but think of any really nice dessert wine that has a little bit of acidity, but a lot of sweetness. Tons of geranium. It's like sticking my nose in a bouquet of flowers whilst eating honeyed dried fruit. It's incredible. Dongfang Meiren, Baihao Oolong. We call it Eastern Beauty. One of the most remarkable teas out there. You will pay a pretty price for it, but it is worth it whenever you feel like indulging in something a little bit sweeter. I could drink this all day, but let's move on to the second tea. For all the chocoholics in the house, this is the tea for you, I promise. Souchong liquor. This is an unsmoked lapsang souchong. So you may have heard of lapsang souchong black tea, which is traditionally smoked. This is an unsmoked version, and it is bursting with cocoa notes. Incredible chocolate aromas coming off the dry leaf, the wet leaf, and in the mouth. Now, this tea here, the flavor aromatics which contribute to that cocoa sweetness in this tea here are a combination. So you have glycoside breakdown as well, which creates an aroma volatile with a very complicated name. I just call it furanone, and that contributes to a caramel aroma, very sweet carameled aroma. If you combine that caramel aroma with the nutty aromas which come from the Maillard reaction, for those of you who don't know, the Maillard reaction is anytime you heat something up to above a certain temperature, it creates a nutty, sweet note to the food, or in this case, the leaf. And because this black tea is heated, you're getting Maillard reaction, which create methylpyrazines. And there are a few different methylpyrazines out there, and they all contribute to a sort of nutty, slightly charred taste. So if you combine that nuttiness and that char with the caramel volatile aromatic of furanone, you start to approximate chocolate and cocoa, and this really has tons of it. Let's get stuck in. I'm brewing in my Yixing clay pot here for black tea, but you can brew this in any teaware you would like. We're using 90-degree water again. I like to brew these type of small leaf black teas slightly lower than the larger leaf black teas, because I think that that contributes to more aromatics and reduces or just controls the level of dryness in the tea and potential bitterness. So we're brewing at 90 degrees, that's 195 Fahrenheit. We're putting 4 grams of leaf per 100 ml. This is a little 120 ml pot. So I put 5 grams here, and the smell, I've rinsed it already, straight up. Honestly, it's like sticking your nose in cocoa, just dark chocolate cocoa. Incredible smell. I'm getting a little bit of woodiness, a slight sort of charred wood note to it, not smoky, but a slight charred wood note to it. But the predominance is dark chocolate. It even has a slight fruity aroma in there, like a red wine, winey aroma going on, which sometimes dark chocolate has, for me at least. So let's brew this up. Again, Gong Fu style. If you don't know what Gong Fu style brewing is, I'll put a link in the description below. It is the way to brew tea. You have to brew it Gong Fu style to get the most out of it. Okay, so we're going to brew this in this cute little pot that I've had for many a year. When the water starts to, you can see the little meniscus of water, the film of water, when that starts to withdraw in, I know that the leaf is pulling in the water, and therefore I'm getting an extraction. That should be good enough. You can brew stronger, you can brew weaker, however you like, as long as you're brewing Gong Fu style. Get those last few drops out. They're potent little drops of tea. And then we're gonna take the lid off. In fact, I'm gonna put it here. Just balance the lid on there, just to allow the water to dissipate. Lovely color, nutty brown color. Cheers, everybody. Oh, it has sweetness. I'm sure that the Maillard reaction has caused some of the natural sugars in the tea to just start to caramelize up a bit. But then you also have the caramel aromatics of furanone in the black tea. Combine that with the methylpyrazines, which contribute to the nuttiness, and it is amazing. It's like 80% dark chocolate. It is so good. It is so good. And I know people out there that are trying to kind of cut down on their chocolate intake, and they are having this as their staple in the tea cupboard because they know that they can satisfy their chocolate cravings just with this tea. It is a beautiful tea, and if you've not tried an unsmoked lapsang before, you really need to do so. So I'm getting those dark chocolates, I'm getting some of that charred wood, a little bit like bourbon, vanilla note going through, but I'm also getting some of that fruitiness, like a stewed fruit, or just a little bit winey, tiny bit in there just to give it an extra dimension. It's a stunner. And certainly one to head for if you're fancying something sweet. Right, onto our final tea. Whenever I feel like an ultra sweet tea, I head for River High Oolong. This is also known as Renshen Oolong. It is a very, very classic and commonly found tea all over China, all over internationally. Let me give you some markers, some quality markers, so that you know what to look for. Because This tea is an oolong tea, so you're getting all of that sort of glycoside hydrolysis that we had in the first tea when you're withering and processing and allowing the tea to break down and create volatile aromatics. You're also getting Maillard reaction sweetness coming from the roasting of this tea, but this tea is also combined with ginseng and licorice, and so you're upping that herbal sweetness. And there are very, very low quality Ren Shen oolongs out there, so watch out for it. What you want to look for as a sort of general guide is you want the pellets here to look like they're irregular. If you start to see pellets that look fairly uniform, similar size, and just look more, I guess, smooth pebble-like rather than this gnarly, knobbly look, then chances are they're made with very, very broken up leaves, crushed up leaves, which are then bonded together and often added artificial sweetener. So watch out for it. It certainly is one of those teas that you need to be a little bit careful of, but if you get a good Ren Shen oolong, it is divine. It's this great combination of all of those natural aromatics from the tea, plus the natural aromatics and sweetness that come from ginseng and licorice, and you get this very, very long-lasting sweetness in the mouth. It also makes, top tip, a really, really lovely latte. So if you want to make a sweet tea latte, but you don't want to add any sugar, then go for River High. Get it, brew it strong. You can combine it with your favorite plant-based milk or dairy milk that you'd like. Also add a little bit of vanilla because of all of the woodsy sweetness from the licorice and the oolong. Those woodsy notes from vanilla work very well. Also cinnamon. All of those woody sweet notes work superbly with this tea. Makes an excellent spiced latte. But of course, today we're going to be drinking it pure. Let's go. I've got my 100 ml Keep Tea Gangster Guy 1. This tea I recommend 6 grams per 100 ml. So we've got 6 grams in here. I've rinsed it already. We are using boiling water here. So for this tea, I go as hot as I can. And the smell coming off here is so complex. It's incredible. I'm getting, very sweet orange candy. I'm getting nougat, vanilla. I'm getting not so much licorice. So for those of you who are anti-licorice, I wouldn't worry about it. I'm not a particular fan of licorice. This is not licoricey to me. It's like toffees and nougats and caramels with a bit of sweet, boiled sweet orange candy. Not sour, very, very sweet candy. It is so, so sweet. It's amazing. Now, what you want to look for is when these pellets open up, you want to look for, leaves rather than broken up material. So that's what I was saying before. Make sure that you're looking for those sort of knobbly, irregular pellets. That would give you a good hint that it's made from as full as possible leaves and is not just sort of broken up tea dust and broken up tea material. It takes a little bit longer to brew this tea. Maybe we're going to give it for about 30-second brew, thereabouts to extract it, but it will give you lots and lots of infusions. And the added ginseng in this tea means it's a great energy booster, a nice pre-workout energy booster, or if you're feeling like you're flagging during the day and you feel like you need a gentle energy lift that is not strictly caffeine-based, but is from ginseng, then this is an amazing tea for you. Right, I think that's good enough. Pour from the Guy 1. Look at that color. Luminous. Luminous gold color. Here we go. Cheers, everybody. River High, Ren Shen Oolong. Creamy nougat. Hazelnut. And I'm trying to work out that orange note. If you try it, maybe you can let me know what you think. But it's a very sweet orange note. Wow. Wow. Super sweet in my mouth. Lingering sweetness that comes from the natural sweetener that is in licorice. But but honestly, it doesn't taste licoricey, if you know what I mean. It's just this enduring, lingering sweetness from the sides of the tongue, really, really buzzing sweetness on the sides of my tongue all the way up to the front. One more cup of this one. So this one is definitely the most sweet out of all of the teas that we've tried today. So if you really want to dip your toes in, or you want to convince one of your friends to start getting into tea, this is a great tea to just pull them into the world of true tea, because it has all of the hallmarks and complexity of true tea, but with these added elements, this sort of amplified sweetness, nuttiness, and caramel nougat note. So recap on the teas. The first tea, Dongfang Mei Ren, Oriental Beauty, also known as Eastern Beauty. Great tea if you like those floral, fruity, honeyed aromas. Next up is Souchong Liquor, an incredible unsmoked lapsang souchong for the chocoholics out there. Rich, deep, dark cocoa notes with a little bit of charred nuttiness to boot. And finally, River High, aka Renshen Oolong. Make sure you get yourself a good quality one, and you will be rewarded with nougat, with toffee, with nuts, and this incredible lingering sweetness and a very good energy boost as well. Make sure you let us know your favorite sweet teas so that you can advise people out there. That's it, tea heads. Check out our other videos. Taste our teas wherever you are in the world by browsing our website or visiting our tea house in London. Other than that, I'm Don from Mayleaf. Thank you for being a part of the revelation of true tea. Stay away from those tea bags. Keep drinking the good stuff and spread the word, because nobody deserves bad tea. Bye.